I just sent you live, but yes.
Okay, good. Good morning. Today is Monday, January 13th. This is the meeting of the City of Annapolis Police and Fire Retirement Commission. This is our first meeting in 2025. I want to greet the commission members and any members of the public attending. We have a quorum, and so I will call the meeting into session. An agenda was circulated to commission members and I believe posted. Uh, Can we have a roll call of those present?
Trisha,
Grace, can you sort of direct people to identify themselves?
Trisha Hopkins is here.
John Wardell.
Alderman Harry Huntley.
John Ortlieb.
Michael Melanoff.
And Amy Miguez.
Not part of the commission is Ian Jones and Dan Johnson. Dan is an associate of mine, and he will be joining me for the meeting today.
So let me welcome the new people here, Mr. Hutley and Mr. Johnson. Welcome to the meeting.
Thank you.
As you've probably have already been introduced to Ian, Ian is our consultant. He's been with us several years now, and he is a resource to all of us on the commission. And Mr. Johnson, since you've been a team member of his for a while, thank you for the services you've provided, and it's good to see a face joining our meeting. Before we go on, Ian and I spoke before the meeting. You wanted to introduce Mr. Johnson a bit more to the members of the commission. Why don't you do that now?
Sure. Dan is an associate of mine. He works out of our headquarter office down in Winter Park, Florida. And as I think many of you know, the only person involved since the inception of our relationship several years ago with the Police and Fire Retirement Plan has been me. And our company, and I think wisely so, has requested that another person from my company be involved so that if the proverbial bus was to hit me, there's somebody else who is very keenly aware with the ongoings of the retirement plan. And so Dan is that person. He and I are close friends, and great person, very smart, and thank you for allowing him to participate.
Very good. With that, Dan, do you want to make any comments? You're welcome to.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you very much, Mr. Simo, and thanks for the introduction, Ian. I just don't need to slow your meeting down, but just want to say hi again, Dan Johnson. I will let you know I've been, working with the firm for about 17 years, and I've worked with Ian for the last 11. So I've worked, familiar with Annapolis Plan from the backside, from the firm side of things. I am a partner at the firm. I work with a lot of the largest public employee retirement systems in the country. I speak on the panel for NCEPers, and look forward to being a fly on the wall today. And if you ever need anything, you have an extra friend here at Mariner Institutional if you need something. So, thank you.
Did we lose Joe?
He's on. Looks like he's on mute. I hope I didn't chase him away.
If Joe's not available, I could jump in on moving us down the agenda. Oh, unless he just came back. I just see somebody else join us.
Okay, I've been Can you hear me?
Yeah,
You're-
we can, but it seems like you broke up a little bit, Joe.
Come back.
You're in and out.
Is Kathy Sulik on? She's the vice chair.
I didn't see Kathy. but-
Kathy, you're on mute.
muted.
Oh, there she is.
Yes, I had to go out and get back in and all that stuff, so I have no idea where we are in this process.
We want to start the meeting. Joe's having trouble with his connection, so I thought maybe you'd be a good one to kick it off.
I think we've
Oh, I
had
don't
our,
even have the agenda. So
Are you able-
there's Joe. Joe,
We've
you need
had
to go
our-
out and back in. That's what I had to do to get in. Sorry, guys.
Joe's trying to rejoin with his iPhone right now, so if he does that, he might be able to talk again.
That would be good. Sorry, Michael. I'm not prepared to do this right now.
so we've called the meeting to order and had our roll call. At
Mhm.
this point, we're up to approval of the minutes. Kathy, if you want to maybe just look for a motion to approve the September 24th, 2024 minutes.
Okay, because I just got on. So the 2024 minutes, do we have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
not-
can I be heard again at this point?
Yes, thank
Yeah.
God, because I'm looking at the agenda.
All right. So the next order of business is the approval of the minutes. This is for the general session of
that.
September 27th. Okay, you've done that.
Did that,
Then the
Joe?
next item of the business is the hot political one, the appointment of chair and vice chair of our commission. Do we have any nominations for chair?
Joe Simo.
I would second that.
Any other people making it a race?
No.
If not, those in favor, aye.
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 Those opposed?
Aye.
No. Yes.
In that case, I thank you for the continuing confidence of the commission. We need a vice chair. Is there a nomination?
I actually would like to not do that this year. I have some stuff going on in and out, and I'm not sure how many meetings. I mean, I'll be here for most meetings, but being vice chair is probably not in my wheelhouse this year. So I nominate Mike Malinow.
I have a few things going on in my life too right now, so it might not be a good idea. I'd nominate, how about Tricia Hopkins?
Good idea.
I would nominate Amy McGibbs.
I support Amy.
Okay, there's a second.
In which case, those in favor, aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
No, but
Hey.
can Amy comment on whether she's willing to hold that role?
I was wondering if anyone was going to ask. Thank you, Jody.
Nobody asked me when Mike made me.
Yes, I'm willing to take that position.
Great.
Thank you for the nomination, John.
In
I think
that
you're doing
case,
a wonderful job, Amy.
we have a unanimous vote. Amy, congratulations. Do you want to make a speech?
No, thank you. I have nothing prepared.
Okay. With that, Ian, why don't you make a very brief overview of the investment markets? Oh, wait, before we even do that, one of the items we do at this first meeting is pick meeting dates for this calendar year. Do people have calendars available?
Yes.
do that. Give me half an hour to get a better calendar up. So I actually happen to be on the West Coast, where we have been dealing with, among other things, my daughter's house was in Altadena.
Mhm.
Glad to say is in Altadena, because as far as I know, it's still standing. Okay. So we were meeting roughly every other month. Do we still like to have that every other month meeting?
I think that's been working.
I do too. Any other comments? Anybody think that's too frequent? Not frequent enough?
I think that that's just enough. And I wanted to add that, remember, I think this meeting is a replacement for our December meeting. So
is.
normally we do our next meeting in February. So the question is, do we want our next meeting to be February?
So I think the answer to that is yes. And we can certainly do it more towards the later part in February. And so I would start off by Ian, are Mondays better for you, or
It really doesn't matter as long as we have the day free. And latter in February, the free days for me are the 17th and the 21st and the 24th.
sorry, 17th? What's the second choice?
21 and 24.
So the 17 does not work for me. 21 or 24 are good. Do any of the commission members have a preference?
21st doesn't work for me, but 24th does for now.
Yes, the
Jody.
17th
Plan
or the
docs.
24th.
24th works for me.
Jody, does the 24th work for you as well?
Yes, the 24th works for me. I will comment that at some point in time in the next couple months, I may no longer be on this committee. So depending on how my replacement search goes, I may or may not be here. But I'd probably be here for at least one meeting to transition the new finance director.
Should you not be here, let me say that it's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you.
I hope this is all for good reasons, and want to thank you for your service.
How many years? So I just need to say also, as we go through this and set the meetings, that my baby sister has just been diagnosed with lung cancer that's already gone to her lymph nodes, and I don't have dates yet of when I need to take her for treatments and things. So that's why I will, sometimes she's just going to have to go on without me.
Mhm. Okay. We will do February 24. In April. Could we try for the 21st of April?
Yes, for me.
Going once, going twice. April 21 is the second meeting.
Fine for now.
Hold on.
Yeah, I would just point out that is the day after Easter.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Are we talking about April 21st? Yes.
That was the date that was proposed.
I have an audit committee meeting scheduled that morning, tentatively.
Okay.
So that's an 8 a.m. start, so those would conflict.
How about the 23rd? That's a Wednesday.
That's open for me.
That would work.
Okay for me.
Yeah.
Dan, not hearing you object, we'll go
No,
with
that-
April.
That's good. And just an FYI, that later in the month is good because receipt of custodial data is not as much of an issue. So those dates are good.
Good. So we roll into June. June gets tricky because I know people start taking vacations and things of that sort. But why don't we, bear with me a minute. How about June 23?
That does not work for me as I am presenting at the International Foundation Conference in Tennessee. Would June 30th be an option?
I'm unavailable June 30th.
I don't know if the 30th would work for most everyone else. It would work for me.
Ian, when do you get back from the conference?
I get back. Well, I'm done on the 23rd, but then I could do the 24th, but July 1st would be better if that's an option.
July 1 is okay with me. How about everyone else?
Fine with me.
Let's do July 1 then. That rolls us into August 25.
That's good.
Mm.
August 25 it is, not hearing any objection. Pushing into October 27.
Good for me.
So far.
October 27, I have a meeting. The 28th, I'm wide open.
October 28th. Then going into December,
Joe, are you there?
yeah, I'm here. I'm doing
Oh.
some things in
No, I just didn't know because
yeah, I went quiet on you. I'm sorry.
no problem.
How does something like December 19 look? It's a Friday.
Good for
No
me.
Fridays for me. But you guys go ahead. I just might not be able to do that.
December 18th, Thursday.
Thursday's good.
That would work.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we've got dates then. Now, certainly as people have issues develop, the city scheduled meetings, let us know. And if we have to move dates, we'll certainly try to do that. With that, Ian, why don't you give us a very quick overview of markets, and then I'd like to get into the discussion of our portfolio in executive sessions.
All right. I'm going to share my screen.
And just as a statement, we go into executive sessions to discuss the handling of public monies as permitted by the laws in order to allow for the smooth management of the pension portfolio. Go ahead, Ian, it's yours.
Great. Before I get started, recognizing Harry is a new commission member, and and there's some other commission members that have been on for a couple of years. But one of the things that we offer is trustee education. And I'm not sure, Harry, if you've been a trustee on other retirement plans, but if you or any of the commission members are interested in trustee investment education, we'd love to be able to help with that. And we can do it either as a group or on a one-on-one basis. But just let us know if that would be of interest. When we go through the reports on a day like today, I tried to keep it understandable. But if you're a new trustee and you're being exposed for the first time, some jargon can find its way into the meeting, and we want to try to help with understanding the concepts that we're trying to describe. So we start off typically with a review of the market environment, and 2024 was a great year, particularly with respect to publicly traded equities, and primarily a positive year, but much more muted returns coming from the fixed income side of the equation. And let me make this a little bit bigger. So in looking at the year-to-date column for the equity market, we really had solid numbers coming from publicly traded equities. And that's after a year, 2023, where we had equally strong results coming from the equity market. But you can see double-digit returns for the domestic equity market indices and single-digit returns from the international benchmarks. The leader in 2024 was the S&P 500, as was the case in 2023. And you can see the S&P was up 25% for the year. Mid and small company stocks were double-digit, but they trailed with returns of 15 and 11% and change. The storyline in 2024, similar to 2023, was that the growth side of the market led and produced the bulk of the market's return. And you can see the Russell 1000 Growth Index was up more than 33%, where the value part of the market was up about 14 and change. And I will give a little bit more color on that on the next page. But it's been a relatively narrow market where a handful of stocks generated outsized returns and contributed significantly to that 25% S&P 500 return. On the international side of the market, the developed markets represented by the MSCI EAFE index were up about 3.8%, and the emerging markets were up 7.5%. The international markets in general have trailed over the last decade plus. They offer better value, but they have not grown as much as a result of just, I would say, a less leadership from names, particularly on the technology side of the market. And they've also have been hampered by a strong US dollar. So when you think of it, when you are earning money overseas and you have to convert it back to US dollars from a return standpoint, you have to take into account either the appreciation or depreciation of the US dollar. And when the US dollar appreciates, you're buying it back at a more expensive price. That takes away from the return you earned in the non-dollar, the international markets, when you convert it back to the US dollar. The bond market, as I mentioned, in high quality investment grade bonds represented by the Bloomberg aggregate and corporate indices, we're up 1.25% and 2+%. The place to be in bonds in 2024, which is the same place that generated really solid returns in 2023, was in high yield bonds. High yield bonds have a greater risk. They have a lower quality, but that they have a substantially higher yield. And that yield drove returns, and you can see returns of 8.2% for 2024. And then the global aggregate is representative of non-dollar international fixed income, and that was down 1.7%. So then I put together a snapshot of returns for the 10 days in January. And let me make this just a touch smaller. And first of all, on a year-to-date basis for 10 days in January, we've gotten off to a little bit of a challenging start with negative returns in both publicly traded equities and publicly traded fixed income. And the storyline, though, in 2024, you might hear of these companies called the Magnificent Seven. We actually have 8 here. Netflix is not part of the Magnificent Seven. But when you look at the returns for these technology-oriented growth companies, and you look at the 1-year trailing as of January 10th, these companies had outsized returns. They are some of the biggest companies that you can invest in the U.S. equity markets, and they contributed the most to the broad market equity results in 2024. And that's more so demonstrated on this page. This page is called a tree chart. And here you have all 500 companies in the S&P 500. Each box represents one of the companies. But this box in the lower right-hand corner, based upon market weight, represents over 130 of the companies in the S&P 500. The boxes in blue are the Magnificent 8 stocks, which I just mentioned. Those 8 stocks at the end of 2024 represented 33.5% of the index weight. So those 8 companies alone represented 1/3 of the S&P 500, and they produced those outsized returns. The balance of the S&P 500 represented about 67% of the index from a market weight standpoint. So when you look at the return, the S&P 500 for the year returned 25%. If you took out the performance of the Magnificent 7 stocks, the S&P returned about 15.9. So the delta between the return minus the Magnificent 7 and the total market is 9.13%. So 9.13% of the S&P 500 return was attributable to the Magnificent 7 stocks. And the Magnificent 7 on a standalone basis returned about 49% for the year. Everyone with me on that? Yes. Joe, I've got some other charts, but I think one, we invited a manager to join us today, Boyd Watterson, who manages a real estate investment portfolio. And we invited them to join at about 9 o'clock, so they may be on.
Okay.
And
in
so I was
that
thinking,
case, yeah, in that
maybe-
case, let us roll into the executive session. And just one last item for the general session. At one of our meetings, we'll do in person. I don't know which one yet, but I think it's good for us to be face to face at some point. So commission members, feel free to send me a note if you agree or disagree, particularly if you disagree with that. And we'll get that identified. Meanwhile, could I have a motion to move into executive session, please?
So moved.
Second.
Anyone opposed? Rest of us in favor?